Hello parents of Year 13 students and Year 13 students yourself, if you're watching this. This is a short video to show you about my courses, the free courses I have running from January up until the end of your exams. This is obviously a really important time of year, January, I believe, because it's where you can really start getting those grades that you need to be able to get to your universities or apprenticeship options. So going over the course, it's 21 weeks each course. Paper 1 is 21 lessons, paper 2 is 21 lessons, and the research methods I'll explain at the end is also 21 lessons, and they run over 21 weeks. In those 21 weeks, they are hour-long lessons. So paper 1 has an hour-long lesson per week, paper 2 has an hour-long lesson per week, and research methods has an hour-long lesson per week. And students can choose to do either paper 1 or paper 2 or research methods, or two of them, or maybe even all three of them. There are discounts available, obviously, for taking more of the courses, and I'll explain that at the end of the video. So getting into the paper 1 course, covering social influence, memory, attachment, and psychopathology. So these are the paper 1 topics, and the paper 1 course is quite content heavy because it covers 4 topics. So to help students with the content, for paper 1 and 2, and even the research methods, actually, there are pre-recorded videos and pre-recommended reading the students can read and watch before they come to the lesson. And this allows me to focus on the exam technique in that hour Zoom lesson that we have that week for the topic. At the end of the lesson as well, I always do a homework that students complete, and then I mark and feedback. I use my 7 years experience as an AQA examiner to give them really detailed feedback. And within the lessons, I use my 15 years of experience teaching AQA A Level Psychology to make the lessons as engaging as possible, with the students attempting questions and me modelling how to do questions to really help students progress and see how that content that they're learning turns into marks in an exam. Okay, so the paper 1 course covers those topics there, and it is on Mondays at 4 p.m. and Tuesdays at 6 p.m. It's the same lesson. Students choose either the Monday or the Tuesday. That allows for some flexibility. If a student couldn't make their 4 p.m. Monday, for example, they can come along to the Tuesday one. Yeah, so it allows students to catch up on lessons just in case something comes up. And there's obviously always also the office hours. If you take one course, you're allowed to come to one a fortnight, and if you take at least 2 courses, you can come to them weekly. And this is an opportunity for students to come in and ask me any questions they've got about their A-level course, potentially the paper 3 topics that they're studying they want some help with, or maybe some homeworks they've got and they want some feedback, or anything else they want to do to talk about A-level psychology. And they run on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Okay, if students couldn't make that time, it is recorded and sent to them. And if a student consistently couldn't make that time, I would make the effort to make sure that I catch with them live on Zoom at the end of lessons. All of the courses have a mock exam in Easter. So paper 1 has its own mock exam, and so does paper 2 and the research methods. That is set by me and marked by me, and they get individual feedback, just like they do for their homework, and that can really help them progress. So running that over Easter is really good because it gets them really focused for the exams that will be just a few weeks down the line. They also have access to my Google Classroom for the entire course. And this has my 15 years worth of resources, essay plans, model essays, things to help them with the specification, videos, past exam questions that I've answered and marked, and yeah, lots of stuff that can really help them progress, and they're welcome to download those and keep them forever. Okay, so that's the paper 1 course. Paper 2 course runs essentially in the same way as the paper 1 course, but it's on Mondays at 6 p.m. and Tuesdays at 4 p.m. And this will obviously cover paper 2 topics, biopsychology and approaches, but it also has a large emphasis on extended writing. So there's a little bit less content in paper 2, but there's a lot of work on extended writing. And this is where you can really start building your 16 markers skills up. So the paper 2 course focuses a little bit less on content, but a bit more on the literacy skills. So if your essays are needing to improve, this would also be a really good course for you as well. Just like the other course, you get the pre-recorded videos, you get the weekly homeworks, and there is an assessment in Easter, and you get to come to the office hours as well. Okay, so the actual course and the lessons are here on the screen. I'll leave paused on here so you can maybe take a screenshot and pause it so you can see the actual content that's covered weekly with the dates on it. So there's the first 12 lessons. Then it's the Easter break with the exams, and that's up to 20, and then the final lesson 21. So due to paper 1 being the first exam, once paper 1 has finished, this turns into a paper 3 course. Okay, and we'll be focusing on the predicted essays that were quite popular last year. The internet was pretty good at predicting the essays, and we'll focus a lot on those. And it will also work on paper 3 research method skills, as well as the issues and debates. And I'll also be able to help year 13 students a little bit more with the options that they teach. Paper 2 obviously is the same week, and that finishes just after paper 1, and that turns into a paper 3 course as well. So this course runs all the way up to the end of the exams, and it will help them with paper 3, especially with the issues and debates and research methods. But students can obviously get support with the options that they take in my office hours all the way from January, but also as part of the course when it converts into paper 3. So that's the paper 1 and paper 2 course. Now, by popular demand, the course that I've been currently running, Research Methods, is back, but it's only on for once a week, and this is at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays, starting on the 15th of January. And this is an opportunity for students who are struggling with their research methods, which, by the way, it's 33% of the grade, and it's the most essential skill in psychology by far. Most essential skill is research methods, then it's writing essays, and then it's learning the content, in my opinion. So this covers the research methods specification in full detail, with lots of application to exam technique and lots of homeworks based on research methods, and its own Easter assessment that will just be on research methods. Okay, and this is, I would say this is really essential for students that are struggling with research methods. So this is the full course starting on Wednesday, the 14th of January, and running all the way again till the end of June, whereby it will turn into a paper 3 research methods course at the end. So paper 3 has got some research methods that are really popular on it. Things like demand characteristics and sampling and statistical testing. So I'll make sure that I cover those so that when the students go into their paper 3, they're really prepared for the type of research methods that comes up in that. As a guide, lessons work out at somewhere between £30 to £40 per lesson, depending on how many courses the students take. And that amount covers the office hours that they can come to, as well as the hour-long Zoom lesson that they attend, the homework that's marked by me, as well as the Easter mock exam that's marked and given back to me as well, which in the context, when you compare it against one-to-one tuition, is actually very good value. If you were to search one-to-one tuition for psychology tutors that have my level of experience, I have 15 years level of experience. Any specific questions about prices, please ask me on the WhatsApp or the email. But as I say, it's best to actually book a one-to-one slot so we can determine the best course for you as the learner or your child as a year 13 learner. Thank you for listening to my video, and have a nice day.